following is a CUNY TV special presentation.
ASAP is a homegrown program, as you know, but it incorporates a lot of what's been learned in the research field about intervention components that could be helpful to help low-income students succeed in their studies. But what ASAP does is pull them together in a very integrated way, which is new for the study in higher education. So we're really excited that together all of these components produce results that are really just striking, and in terms of education research, really out of this world.
I like to tell you a little bit about myself. I first come in this country from the small French-speaking country of Togo in West Africa. I spent the first 5 years working various jobs. I worked as a waiter, a store clerk, and I even sold DVDs on the streets of Harlem. By 2009, I was searching for a better life, something that I knew a college education would give me. So I enrolled at Bronx Community College. That is how I learned about the benefits and the responsibilities of being an ASAP student. This proved to be, I decided to join, and this proved to be one of the best decisions I've ever made. ASAP provided me with monthly Metro cards, free textbooks, as well as a dedicated advisor, all of which helped me focus on improving my English, doing my schoolwork on time, and getting involved in my college and neighborhood extracurricular activities. Thanks to ASAP, I graduated 2 years later with an associate degree in business administration, and I went on to earn my bachelor's degree in management entrepreneurship from Baruch College of the City University of New York. After graduation, I interned, and then I became a full-time business development analyst at the National Community Reinvestment Coalition, NCRC. My story is a story of others like me, like you just heard. People who want to earn a college degree but who struggle to make ends meet financially because we have families to support, or because we are not native English speakers, or because we enter college needing remedial courses. For us, programs like ASAP make a huge difference. It's the difference between having a shot at succeeding and not having any chance at all.
You've heard, and you'll hear more about what it does, combining these multiple high-impact practices into a coherent and structured student support experience. The program was launched to address a problem in New York City of low completion rates at our community college. But this isn't a New York City problem, although we may be making more progress to solving it than any place in the country, but it is clearly a national problem. With over 7 million community college students across the country, graduation rates are far too low. At urban community colleges, the 3-year graduation rate is about 16%. It is absolutely essential that we do a better job in New York City and across the country in not only providing affordable access to our institutions of higher education, but providing the tools, the structure, the support that those students need to be successful. So why do we care so much about this? Well, for one reason, we see the evidence of individual opportunity and success when it happens. But it's also a city and a national agenda. We have an increasingly requirements for an educated workforce. We are not going to be competitive unless we do a better job of providing success and a higher level of educational attainment. Share of jobs that now require post-secondary education has doubled over the last 40 years. Nationally, half of the people from the highest quintile of income receive a bachelor's degree by 25. If you look at the lowest quintile, 1 in 10 receive a bachelor's degree by age 25. That's why programs like ASAP that provide opportunity to those students who need it the most are so important. And then the good news is that if you're born in that lowest quintile of wealth, if you get a college degree, your chances of making it to the top quintile quadruple. So this is truly an economic opportunity that comes with the great educational opportunity. And it is tailor-made for CUNY. We happen to be fortunate that MDRC is mainly in New York City. That's a great boon for us. And so they have this, this great test bed laboratory in CUNY. But if you look at CUNY, who CUNY serves, 40% of our students born outside the United States, 40% from families with a household income of $20,000 or less, over 40% the first in their families to attend college. I can't think of a place that stands for opportunity more than CUNY, and I can't think of a program that better serves that population than ASAP. That's why we're so pleased with de Blasio administration's agreement to support this program and ramp it up over the next few years. I think it's a tremendous investment in the students of CUNY and in New York City.
CUNY is a stop, actually, in the life of 75% of the students who graduate from New York City's public schools, and it's the foundation of the career pathway for so many others. And so it's recognizing that centrality that was the reason that the mayor committed to dramatically increasing the city's investment. And more than cash investment, our engagement with CUNY as the city's university system. It's why in his very first budget, the mayor added $150 million in city funds as part of our commitment to CUNY over the next few years, probably the largest increase in decades that you've seen in the city administration to CUNY.
So we began as a pilot, and it was really a match made in heaven. CEOs sought to improve the future economic prospects of low-income New Yorkers by funding comprehensive, data-driven programs, and CUNY was seeking to radically increase its community college graduation rates. We began as an all-in model, as in all of our then 6 community colleges were part of the program. We started with just over 1,100 students in fall 2007, and roughly about 30% of the students from that first cohort did have some developmental needs when they began with us, which were addressed over the summer. So as you can see, about 2 years in 2009, because the program was doing so well with our first cohort, we began to admit students that had some developmental needs. And we define that as students who have 1 or 2 developmental needs based on their CUNY assessment test scores, just to see how the model would work with them. 2 years later, in fall 2011, that first cohort, more than half of them had graduated, and the second cohort right behind them was doing equally well. Huge momentum, looking like they were coming up strong too. So the CEO, in their infinite wisdom, agreed to baseline funding to CUNY, and it became a permanent allocation, and we began to expand the program 1 year later. The program has grown in an enormous manner, and we now proudly serve just under 4,300 students at 7 colleges. So how do students get into ASAP, and who are the students that we serve? ASAP is a post-admissions consideration, meaning students have to be accepted in entering CUNY, or they have to have minimal credit accumulation if they're already there. So we look to recruit students who are city residents and or eligible for in-state tuition. Students have to agree to study full-time in one of the majors that we support. We support most majors other than nursing and allied health, majors that have prerequisites to enter the major and clinical requirements that would make graduating within 3 years very challenging. We do accept continuing and transfer students as long as they have less than 15 credits and are in good academic standing. And we look for students who are either fully skills proficient or have a maximum of 2 developmental course needs, as mentioned, based on their CUNY assessment test scores. And finally, students who are eligible and receiving financial aid, need-based aid, such as Pell and TAP. So the students that we admit to ASAP are very representative of the community colleges they attend. Here we provide a profile of students that have been in the ASAP program and our most recent CUNY Community College cohort, for which we have complete data. And as you can see, in many ways, they're very, very similar. We serve slightly more females than males. A little over 3/4 of the students are Black and Hispanic. Similar percentage of students entering with some developmental need, about 80%. ASAP students are a little bit younger, 21 versus 23 as the mean age. And students in ASAP are more likely to be GED recipients and in receipt of federal Pell. ASAP offers a robust package of financial resources and services. We give a lot, but as we're fond of saying, we expect a lot in return from our students, and Lukman can attest to that. ASAP students have responsibilities and expectations. They need to meet with their advisors. They have to stay enrolled full-time. They're expected to go to tutoring if they're mandated, and if they have developmental need, they have to address those needs immediately and continuously. There's no place to hide in ASAP. Someone will find you and make sure you're doing the right thing. So in terms of the financial resources, students have a gap need between their financial aid and their tuition and fees. That's waived. And all students receive free use of textbooks and monthly unlimited Metro cards. In terms of structured pathways, everyone in ASAP gets a consolidated schedule, morning, afternoon, or here at BMCC, we have a full-fledged evening and weekend program. You can take all your classes on Saturday and Sunday if you want, and getting the classes you need when you need them so you could manage the demands of your life are critical. If you have developmental needs, you're taking them immediately and continuously. We are plugging students into those classes and providing them with the support they need to pass quickly. And we believe that winter and summer course taking is critical to building academic momentum. In terms of our comprehensive supports, I specifically just want to highlight our high-touch advisement. This is our signature service, and like the Metro card from our financial resources, in terms of the services we provide, having a personalized advisor is hands down recognized by students over and over again as the most important service that we provide. If you're in ASAP, you're assigned to an advisor who works with you from the minute you walk in the door until the day you graduate.
So MDRC, around 5 years ago, started working with CUNY to begin an evaluation of this program. And it included three main components. We looked into ASAP's implementation, its costs, and ultimately the effects of it. To evaluate the program, we employed the most rigorous research design out there, a random assignment design, where students who were interested and eligible to participate in ASAP were randomly assigned either to participate in the program or to be part of a control group that was offered the opportunity to participate in the college's regular services that they offered. By comparing the outcomes of these two different groups, we can basically estimate the benefit or value added of ASAP compared to the regular services on things like enrollment rates, credit accumulation, and graduation. In our study, there were 900 students that participated. Around 450 were in ASAP and 450 in the control group. And this study was done at 3 of the 6 community colleges offering the program at the time. For the evaluation, we targeted low-income students with 1 to 2 developmental course needs. As Donna noted, the regular program also includes college-ready students. And all students had to say that they were willing to enroll full-time. So let's talk about some of the results. ASAP dramatically increased enrollment rates or persistent rates during the 3-year follow-up period. So if you look at the vertical axis, that shows you the enrollment rates. And then we have outcomes over 3 years. So year 1, year 2, year 3. And then each year is broken down into semesters. And each semester is broken down into a main session or an intersession. Those main sessions are what you typically think of as a spring or a fall term, or around 12-week sessions. And the intersessions you can loosely think of as being like the winter or the summer sessions, these 6-week sessions in between. And so what you'll see here, if you look, for example, at year 1, semester 2's main session, you can see that 90% of people that were part of ASAP, the program group, continued to enroll through the second semester. Compared to, if you look at the red bars, only 80% of the control group was enrolled. Or in other words, ASAP had an effect of around 10 percentage points in terms of boosting enrollment rates during that second semester's main session. Or if you look at those intersessions, in general, students tend to enroll less frequently in them across the board, but ASAP had really large effects in terms of getting students to enroll during these less commonly enrolled times. 21 percentage point difference in semester 1, 25 percentage points in semester 2, 17, and so forth. So these are really large effects in terms of enrollment. Enrollment is nice, but in order to get a degree, you've got to actually earn some credits. So this next graph is the same kind of a plot, but now it shows cumulative credit accumulation through the 3-year follow-up period. So if you just slide all the way to the right on the graph, you can see that for the ASAP group, on average, by the end of 3 years, they had earned around 48 credits compared to the control group that had only earned 8.7 fewer credits. So we believe that ASAP boosts credit accumulation by around 8.7 credits. For those of you that don't think in terms of credits and think in terms of courses, most courses within CUNY are worth 3 or 4 credits. So this means there's about two or three more courses that ASAP caused students to complete over the 3-year follow-up period. I think most people in this room, though, probably, and definitely ASAP is most interested and excited about graduation. Credits are nice, but earning a degree is the ultimate goal of the program. Before I share those numbers on the next slide, I have to give a bit of a disclaimer, which is that Donna and CUNY have been sharing some numbers on ASAP's graduation rates, and what we're going to share have slightly different numbers because of a few factors. MDRC's study did not include the college-ready students. That was just part of the study. We only looked at 3 of the 6 colleges that are part of the program, and we only looked at 2 cohorts of the students that were part of the evaluation. So you'll see slightly different numbers than you've heard in the past. So I have to give that disclaimer. But still, the effects are really dramatic. So this slide shows you the graduation rates from our study, which shows that ASAP significantly, dramatically increased graduation rates. Whereas only 22% of our randomly assigned control group graduated, those that were offered ASAP graduated at a rate of 40% for an 18 percentage point impact. Of course, a comprehensive integrated program like this is not for free, so we also looked at the cost of the program, or the yearly investment per group member. And so this slide just shows you some information about that. At the time of the study, the average yearly investment per program group member was around $13,300. This includes the college's regular investment required for operation plus the additional investment in ASAP. So if you kind of compare that to the control group, that's just the regular cost for a net cost of around $4,700 per group member. However, as a result of nearly doubling graduation rates, the cost per degree is actually lower in the program group compared to in the control group. So ASAP actually lowered the cost per degree throughout this 3-year follow-up period. In more recent incarnations of the program, as it's expanded, they've managed to reduce the cost of ASAP, and I believe the net cost now is expected to be around $3,900 per student in 2015. So what is to come? So as has been noted already, ASAP is scaling within CUNY to an expectation of 13,000 students in the year 2017. In addition, as has been mentioned, MDRC, in partnership with CUNY, the Ohio Board of Regents, the Great Lakes Higher Education Corporation, who's the project's anchor funder, and 3 Ohio community colleges are attempting to replicate this type of a program as faithfully as possible in Ohio. And this is really important, at least when you think of the big picture nationally, because this will provide an opportunity to test whether other colleges in a very different context with different types of students can actually first pull off this kind of a program. It's very difficult to actually implement. And then also, will it actually be able to replicate the same kind of effects that they're seeing here in CUNY? And in addition to that, MDRC and CUNY are also both exploring other opportunities to bring ASAP to other colleges in the country. For the ASAP follow-up, we're also hoping that we might actually track these students for even longer to see whether or not these results eventually translate even into bachelor's degrees and in the long term into labor market effects, which I think people are very interested in. So that may be in the works as well. So all of this is really exciting news, we think, for New York City. And in fact, the program and evaluation results are receiving national attention. So some of you might have seen this. This comes actually directly from the White House's webpage. I cut it and pasted it, where the president's proposal for tuition-free community college, that I'm sure a lot of you have heard about, it highlighted just a single evidence-based program as the types of reforms that institutions would have to adopt to be eligible for free tuition. And if you can read the small writing in yellow highlighting, that program, of course, was ASAP. So it's pretty impressive. I just need to acknowledge our funders. Thank you to 2 of the project's generous funders, the New York City's Center for Economic Opportunity and the Robin Hood Foundation, who funded the evaluation. So thank you all.
To learn more about ASAP, log on to their website at cuny.edu.